Welcome back to Maple and Bamboo. Today, I want to share 3 of the biggest mistakes I made in my 25-year corporate career. These mistakes cost me time, energy, and opportunities, but they also shaped the lessons I now live by. By sharing them, I hope you can learn faster and avoid some of the setbacks I faced. This is about real stories, not theory. For those new here, I'm Maylin Maple, author of The Bamboo Executive. I came to Canada as a first-generation immigrant and built a career inside a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't always easy. I often felt like an outsider, unsure of how to navigate the unspoken rules. That's why I wrote my book, to pass along what I wish I had known earlier. Have you ever stayed quiet in a meeting only to hear your idea spoken by someone else a few minutes later? Have you ever burned yourself out by working harder than everyone else, thinking it was the only way to succeed? Or believed your talent alone would guarantee promotions only to watch others get ahead? I've experienced all of these. These 3 mistakes, staying silent, overworking, and relying only on talent, are common traps. I know because I lived them. But what's important is how we recover, how we adapt, and how we turn mistakes into lessons. That's what this video is about. Lessons learned the hard way, so you don't have to make the same missteps. Let's start with the first mistake, and perhaps the one that shaped my career most profoundly: staying silent when I should have spoken up. Early in my career, I thought it was safer to stay quiet. As an immigrant in a new culture, I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I thought being polite and hardworking would be enough. So in meetings, even when I had great ideas, I stayed silent. I convinced myself that keeping my head down would eventually get me noticed. It didn't. The reality was that others around me weren't shy about speaking up. More than once, I heard someone voice an idea I had thought of but didn't share. They got the recognition, while I sat quietly with regret. It wasn't their fault. It was mine for not stepping into the conversation. I learned that silence doesn't protect you, it sidelines you. In the corporate world, silence is often read as lack of confidence or lack of leadership potential. My managers didn't see me as someone ready for bigger responsibilities. Even though I worked hard behind the scenes, my voice, or lack of it, told a different story. That disconnect stalled my career more than I realized at the time. One day, a mentor pulled me aside and said something that changed everything. She told me, "If you don't define your voice, others will define it for you." It hit me hard. By staying silent, I was letting others shape how people saw me. I realized that my voice wasn't just about me. It was also about representing the people who couldn't be in the room. Speaking up didn't happen overnight. It started small, one question in a meeting, one suggestion in a brainstorming session. Each time I spoke, I felt more confident, and each time I saw how others listened. The fear didn't disappear, but the growth was stronger than the fear. That's what mattered. Practical tip 1. Speak early. One trick I learned was to speak early in a meeting. If you wait too long, your nerves build up and your window closes. Even if it's just to support someone else's point or ask a clarifying question, contributing early sets your presence in the room. Practical tip 2. Prepare talking points. Another strategy was preparation. Before big meetings, I would jot down 2 or 3 key points I wanted to raise. That way, I wasn't improvising under pressure. It gave me a roadmap and the confidence to know I had something valuable to contribute. I also realized that having a voice isn't just about self-promotion. Sometimes it's about advocating for others. Speaking up for a colleague, asking a question that others are afraid to ask, or offering a perspective that might be overlooked. These things build trust and credibility. Over time, my voice became one of my strongest assets. It opened doors to leadership opportunities, It helped me influence decisions and earn respect. More importantly, it allowed me to represent not just myself, but the diverse perspectives I carried as a first-generation immigrant. But finding my voice wasn't my only struggle. Another mistake nearly broke me, and that was the mistake of overworking myself to the point of burnout. As an immigrant, I carried a belief that to succeed, I had to outwork everyone. I thought long hours, skipped lunches, and weekends at the office were the only way to prove myself. At first, it felt like I was making progress. People saw me as dedicated. But behind that dedication was exhaustion, stress, and a growing distance from my family. I was surviving, not thriving. The truth is, overworking doesn't just drain your energy, it eats away at your creativity and joy. I remember staring at my computer screen late at night, my mind numb. I wasn't producing my best work. And worse, I was burning bridges at home because I was never fully present. That's when I realized overwork steals more than it gives. In corporate culture, there's often a hidden badge of honor in being the last to leave the office. I wore that badge proudly for years, thinking it showed commitment. But in reality, it showed poor boundaries and poor self-management. Nobody remembers the hours, they remember the results. That was a hard but necessary lesson. My wake-up call came when my health started to suffer. I was constantly tired, irritable, and losing my sense of purpose. Work, which I once loved, became a source of resentment. I knew something had to change, or I wouldn't last another decade, let alone build a sustainable career. Sometimes the body forces us to pause when the mind refuses. The biggest shift was realizing that working smarter is far more valuable than working longer. Productivity isn't about hours, it's about priorities. When I started focusing on the most impactful tasks instead of doing everything, my results improved. And ironically, people respected me more. It wasn't about doing more, it was about doing what mattered. Practical tip 1: protecting rest. One thing I changed was treating rest like a meeting. I blocked my calendar for breaks, exercise, and family time. At first, I felt guilty, but I quickly saw that rest fueled better performance. Protecting energy is not laziness, it's strategy. Practical tip 2: learning to say no. Another game changer was learning to say no without guilt. Early in my career, I said yes to everything, fearing it would hurt me if I didn't. But the truth is, saying yes to everything diluted my value. Saying no respectfully allowed me to focus on what truly mattered, and leaders respected that clarity. Practical tip 3: delegate and trust. Delegation was also a skill I had to learn. I used to think doing everything myself showed strength. In reality, it showed insecurity. Delegating empowered my team and freed me to focus on higher-level work. Trusting others is not a weakness, it's a leadership skill. When I finally found balance, something amazing happened. I became more creative, more strategic, and more present. My family noticed the difference, and so did my colleagues. Burnout had taught me the value of pacing myself for the long game. But even after finding my voice and learning not to burn out, I still carried a dangerous belief that talent alone was enough. That mistake held me back in ways I didn't see until much later. Growing up, I believed that intelligence and skill were everything. In school, being smart often guaranteed success. I carried that belief into my career, thinking if I just worked hard and performed well, promotions would naturally follow. But corporate life doesn't work that way. Talent is important, but it's not enough. I remember seeing peers, people who didn't seem as sharp or as hardworking, getting promoted ahead of me. At first, I felt frustrated, even resentful. I thought, how is this possible? Over time, I realized they weren't necessarily more talented. They were more connected. They understood the power of visibility and relationships. The reality is that corporate life rewards not just what you know, but who knows you. Execution and relationships often outweigh pure intelligence. I had to face the uncomfortable truth. My talent wasn't the problem. My strategy was. The shift came when I invested in building mentors and sponsors. Mentors gave me guidance, but sponsors spoke my name in rooms I wasn't in. That visibility was what finally accelerated my career. Without them, I might still be waiting to be noticed. Practical. Tip 1. Network before you need it. One of the best lessons I learned is to build relationships before you need them. Too often, people reach out only when they're desperate for a job or opportunity. Genuine networking is about long-term trust, not short-term transactions. Practical tip 2. Visibility matters. I also learned that visibility is not vanity. If nobody knows your work, it doesn't matter how good it is. Share your successes humbly, present your ideas confidently, and don't shy away from recognition. Being invisible is not the same as being humble. It's being overlooked. Practical tip 3. Execution beats intelligence. Most importantly, I saw that execution beats intelligence. Plenty of smart people get stuck because they never act. The people who rise are those who take action, even if imperfect, and learn along the way. Execution creates momentum, and momentum creates opportunity. Once I embraced this mindset, my career shifted. I built stronger networks, sought out sponsors, and took bold action instead of waiting for perfection. My talent was still valuable, but now it was paired with influence and impact. So after staying silent, burning out, and relying only on talent, I finally understood that growth is about balance. Let's wrap up with the lessons I want you to take away. To recap, my 3 big mistakes were staying silent, overworking, and thinking talent was enough. Each mistake cost me, but each also taught me a lesson, and those lessons became the foundation of my career growth. From staying silent, I learned the power of having a voice. From burnout, I learned the value of balance. From the talent trap, I learned that execution and relationships drive success. These are lessons I wish I had known much earlier. That's exactly why I wrote The Bamboo Executive. It's not just my story, but a collection of 25 lessons from 25 years in corporate life, blending Eastern resilience with Western strategy. If you're starting your career or if you feel stuck, this book was written for you. This book is available to order on Amazon. I will share the link on the comment section. If you found value in this video, I'd love for you to subscribe. The Maple and Bamboo channel is about reflecting on life, career, wealth, and balance, lessons I've lived, not just studied. Your support helps me share these stories with more people. And if you want to go deeper, check out The Bamboo Executive on Amazon. Links here. It's the resource I wish I had 25 years ago, and I'm excited to share it with you now. Thanks again for watching. Remember, small changes today can reshape you tomorrow. This is Maylin Maple, and I'll see you in the next video.